Okay, I want to demonstrate a isolated drum track that I programmed for a song that I'm writing. In the song, I've recorded guitar, and I've applied some plugins to give it a distortion effect. I've also have a bass guitar that's a VST. It's an instrument that's in the actual software. It's not an actual bass guitar, and that I could play with the keyboard. Um, and I also have a programmed drum VST as well. So let's take a look. And what I want to share here is that these tracks here that you're seeing, this is my song. So these top two are the guitar tracks that I recorded, and then this track 3 is the drums. And the drums have been mapped. I've routed each of the various percussion instruments, like the kick and snare and toms, to their own channels so that you can adjust the levels and apply any sort of effects or reverb. So for all intents and purposes, this is a studio quality drum kit. And we can just take a look at the instrument very quickly. I've got it from ML Sound Lab, and you probably won't hear those sounds because I'm not sharing the audio from the computer. But I am going to overdub the audio from the drum track because I've actually exported this as an isolated drum track, so we can take a look at that. And so what's nice about that is that this drum track I programmed it myself, this drum track. So if I drop it in here, you can see that this is our drum track. And so if I zoom in, we can see that if you look at track 3, pattern 2 aligns with this drum track here. So it's a waveform because it's now an audio file instead of a MIDI file. So this is nice because I can let's say someone had a guitar track they wanted me to program drums for. I could program the drums for that guitar, send back the raw file or the direct injection file. So this is just to give it as direct input or isolate. It's actually direct injection, but you can think of it as like a isolated drum track. And so it's programmed specifically for whatever track guitar recording that you have. So let me erase that. So let's just go through this song and we'll be able to listen to the drums. I'm going to play the guitar for the first for the first minute because there's some silence for the drums. The drums don't actually play at this part. But I've removed the distortion from the guitar. So you won't be able, it'll sound just like a clean guitar without any distortion applied. All right. And we'll take a look at this is the MIDI that I've programmed for that drum. So this is an intro or a fill. And then if you go to pattern 2, here's our loop. And I've just created various loops for the drum tracks. So we'll go through each of these during the song. All right, so let's begin. So you can see we're in pattern 2 and we're looping. I think this is a ride. Here's our snare. Here's our kick. There's a fill. And after we get started, I'll go ahead and mute the guitar. This is a palm mute, so it doesn't sound as good without distortion. Now we've added that crash. Switch to the hi-hat. Here comes another fill. Toms. Here we can see that the snare, every time the snare is hit, you see it picked up on the channels here. There's the kick, the hi-hat, overhead. So here coming up, we have a double bass part. So So yeah, that's pretty much the video or the song. Those are all the different patterns I used, and I programmed each of these individually. What I like to do is when you're listening to the guitar, you'll notice the kick here, and then you have two, and then you know, the kick is happening on the first beat, and then it skips a second beat, goes to the third beat, skips the fourth beat, and gets if you think about it like this, like each of these bars is 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E, and so you can see that the snare is on the 2 and the 4, 1 E and a 2, 2 E and a 3, 3 E and a 4. And so each of these is these little squares here is 1 E and well, that's 2 E and a 2 E, and so this the kick, the snare is on the 2, but the kick is on the E and. So 2 E and, skip the hit the 3. So 2 E and 3, and so forth. So that's how I program these drums. Is when the guitar is playing the riff, you know, it could go 1 E and I'm gonna hit every time the guitar hits is strummed up or down, I'm hitting the kick. And then I'm putting the snare on the 2 and the 4. Sometimes I think I put it on the 3. Let's see if I can find one. Here's one where I put it on the 3. And then the cymbal, like either the crash or the ride or the hi-hat, or not, the hi-hat, they're all used to keep time. They just keep time. And then I just throw in some fills for some interesting things, like here's a drum roll on the snare, here's a drum roll on the tom. This is double bass. So now we're in, I think we're even beyond 16th notes at this point, because this is 1 E and so this would be, you know, in between the E and O's, which is a lot. I don't know if that's going to be 16th or 32nd, but either way, I think this pretty much concludes the demonstration, and you can see that each of these is programmed individually and specific to the guitar that's being played. So, all right, let me know if you have any questions. Thank you.